I must take that girl's life, I must be the most beautiful amongst all, I must have the crown prince all to myself, Princess Muna barked at the big black calabash. The calabash lay in the middle of a dimly lit chamber, filled with strange herbs and magical potions. It seemed to pulse with an eerie light as Princess Muna glared at it, her eyes filled with determination and envy. In her village of Omuna, beauty was highly prized, and Muna, the daughter of the king, could not stand the thought of anyone being more beautiful than her. But there was Nkem. Nkem, the orphan girl with the most radiant smile and kindest heart, lived with her grandmother in a small hut at the edge of the village. Nkem's beauty was natural and effortless, and it was said that even the flowers bloomed brighter in her presence. Every time Princess Muna saw Nkem, jealousy gnawed at her heart like a wild beast. Muna had always believed that becoming the most beautiful woman in Omuna would secure her a marriage to Prince Nedu, the handsome prince of the neighboring kingdom. She was convinced that beauty was the only way to win his heart. She had tried all the beauty potions, all the enchanted herbs, but nothing worked. Nkem remained the fairest in the land. Frustrated and furious, Muna sought the help of the village witch, a mysterious old woman who lived deep in the forest. The witch gave her the black calabash and instructed her to use it with great caution. Remember, the witch had warned, beauty that comes from the heart cannot be stolen. If you try to harm the innocent, you will only bring misery upon yourself. But Muna did not listen. She believed that if she could somehow get rid of Nkem, she would become the most beautiful woman in Omuna. She concocted various plans to ruin Nkem's beauty. She mixed potions to make her skin break out, to make her hair fall out, and even tried to cast spells to make her trip and fall. But every time, something strange happened. One day, Muna sent a servant to pour a potion into Nkem's drinking water. But just as the servant was about to pour it, a gust of wind blew the potion away, scattering it into the grass. Another time, Muna sent someone to sprinkle powder on Nkem's clothes, but a sudden rainstorm washed the powder away before Nkem could wear them. No matter what Muna did, nothing seemed to harm Nkem. What is protecting her? Muna fumed, pacing her room. Why can't I get rid of her? One night, as Muna lay in bed, she overheard her maid talking to another servant about Nkem's grandmother, Mama Ejike. They say Mama Ejike has powerful blessings, the maid whispered. She prays for Nkem every night, asking the gods to protect her. Muna's eyes narrowed. So, it's the grandmother's prayers that protect her, she muttered. I must find a way to stop them. The next day, Muna disguised herself as a common villager and went to Nkem's hut. She watched from a distance as Nkem and her grandmother walked in their small garden. Muna's eyes darkened with jealousy as she saw how happy and content Nkem looked. I'll find a way to break their bond, Muna hissed. Then Nkem's protection will be gone. Muna waited until nightfall, then crept up to the hut. She peered through a crack in the door and saw Mama Ejike kneeling by Nkem's bed, praying softly. Great spirits, protect my granddaughter, Mama Ejike whispered. Keep her safe from all harm and let her light shine bright. Muna clenched her fist. She couldn't stand to hear those words. She had to find a way to stop Mama Ejike from praying for Nkem. The next day, Muna went back to the village witch. I need a spell to stop someone from praying, she demanded. The witch shook her head. You're treading on dangerous ground, princess. Magic cannot stop the power of a pure heart. But Muna was determined. She begged and pleaded until the witch reluctantly gave her a small pouch of black powder. Sprinkle this around the house, the witch said. It will create a barrier that prevents prayers from reaching the heavens. But be warned, if you misuse this power, it will turn against you. Muna didn't care about the warning. That night, she snuck back to Nkem's hut and sprinkled the black powder all around it. She smirked, satisfied that Mama Ejike's prayers would no longer protect Nkem. The next morning, Muna was eager to see the result of her work. She waited in her chamber, expecting to hear that Nkem's beauty had begun to fade. But when she finally heard the villagers talking, it was not what she expected. "Did you hear about Nkem?" one woman said. "Her beauty is even more radiant today. It's as if the gods have blessed her even more." Muna's heart sank. How could this be? She rushed to her mirror and gasped. Her own face was covered in red, itchy spots. Her hair looked dull and lifeless. She tried to cover it with makeup and potions, but nothing worked. Desperate, Muna ran back to the witch. "What's happening to me?" she cried. "Why is this happening?" The witch looked at her sadly. "I warned you, princess. The power of a pure heart cannot be overcome by evil. Your jealousy and hatred have turned against you." Muna's eyes filled with tears. "But I only wanted to be the most beautiful so I could marry Prince Nedu," she sobbed. The witch shook her head. "True beauty comes from within, princess. Until you learn that, you will never find happiness." As Muna left the witch's hut, she realized that her quest for beauty had only brought her misery. She had been so consumed by jealousy and envy that she had lost sight of what really mattered. She had a lot to learn about kindness, love, and true beauty. Muna returned to her room, her heart heavy with regret. She watched as Nkem continued to live happily with her grandmother, her beauty shining brighter than ever. The villagers admired Nkem not just for her looks, but for her kind heart and gentle spirit. And in time, even Princess Muna began to see that true beauty could not be stolen or destroyed. It could only be nurtured and cherished. But Muna was not ready to give up. She still wanted to marry Prince Nedu and believed that if she could somehow win his heart, all her troubles would be over. She decided to approach Prince Nedu directly and confess her feelings for him. "Prince Nedu," Muna said, her voice trembling with anticipation, "I have admired you from afar for a long time. I would be honored if you would consider me as your future bride." Prince Nedu looked at her with kind eyes but shook his head. "Princess Muna, I appreciate your feelings, but my heart belongs to someone else. I have fallen in love with a girl who is kind and beautiful, not just on the outside, but on the inside too." Muna's heart sank. "Who is she?" she asked, already knowing the answer. "Her name is Nkem," Prince Nedu said, his eyes lighting up with love. "She has a pure heart and a gentle spirit. I have never met anyone like her." Muna felt a pang of jealousy but also a glimmer of understanding. She realized that true beauty and love could not be forced or stolen. They had to come from within. Princess Muna felt her heart break at Prince Nedu's words. She had been so consumed by her desire to be the most beautiful and to win the prince's heart that she had forgotten what true beauty and love really meant. For days, Muna stayed in her room, reflecting on her actions. She thought about Nkem's radiant smile and the way the villagers loved her. She realized that Nkem's beauty wasn't just about her looks, it was about her kindness, her generosity, and her pure heart. One evening, as the sun set over Omuna, Muna made a decision. She put on a simple dress and walked to Nkem's hut. Her heart pounded with nervousness, but she knew what she had to do. When she arrived, she saw Nkem and Mama Ejike sitting outside, enjoying the cool evening breeze. "Nkem," Muna said softly, "may I speak with you?" Nkem looked up, surprised. She nodded and gestured for Muna to sit down. "Of course, princess." Muna took a deep breath. "I have come to apologize. I have been terribly jealous of you, and I have done many things to try and harm you. But no matter what I did, something always protected you. I now understand that true beauty comes from the heart, not from outward appearances. I am sorry for all the pain I have caused you." Nkem's eyes softened. She took Muna's hand in hers. "I forgive you, princess. It takes a lot of courage to admit when we are wrong. I hope you find peace and happiness." Tears welled up in Muna's eyes. Thank you, Nkem. I want to learn how to be kind and loving, like you. Will you help me? Nkem smiled warmly. Of course, princess. We can all learn and grow together. From that day on, Princess Muna and Nkem became friends. Muna spent more time with Nkem and Mama Ejike, learning about kindness, generosity, and the true meaning of beauty. She helped in the garden, played with the village children, and listened to Mama Ejike's stories about the spirits and the ancestors. Slowly, Muna's heart began to change. She felt lighter and happier. The red spots on her face disappeared, and her hair regained its shine. But more importantly, she started to feel beautiful on the inside. The villagers noticed the change in Muna and began to admire her for her kindness and generosity. One day, as Muna and Nkem were walking through the village, they saw Prince Nedu. He was talking to some of the children and laughing. When he saw Muna, he smiled. "Princess Muna, it's good to see you," he said warmly. Muna smiled back. "It's good to see you too, Prince Nedu." Nedu looked at her thoughtfully. "I've heard about the changes you've made, Princess. It's admirable. True beauty indeed comes from the heart." Muna nodded. "Thank you, Prince Nedu. I've learned a lot from Nkem and Mama Ejike. They've shown me what it means to be truly beautiful." Nedu's eyes twinkled with understanding. "That's wonderful to hear, Princess. I hope you continue to spread kindness and love." As the days turned into weeks, Muna continued to grow and change.